Like everybody else on the internet, it seems, I've decided I'm going to make my own lightsaber because I can and because I've always wanted one. And this is the initial test of 4 LED strips on a 1-inch diameter blade, and you can see that there's obviously some gaps in between them. Next, I added a couple of layers of plastic film for applying to windows, and it helped a bit, but you can still see the gaps in between the individual LED strips. Finally, I tried wrapping the whole thing with several layers of sheer curtain fabric, which had the advantage of being something that could just crumple up into a small space. In the end, even with all that diffusion, 4 LED strips wasn't going to be quite enough. I think 6 total should be plenty to fill in the gaps. But of course I couldn't stop there. I wanted a functioning lightsaber in as much as I could make an actual functioning lightsaber. A while ago I saw some folks playing around online with using these expandable magician's canes to do the same sort of thing. And I played with that, but it wasn't super reliable, as you could see. And then once it was expanded, it took a little bit of effort to get it back down into the collapsed state. On the plus side, it did deploy quickly and smoothly, and when it did fully deploy, it was actually pretty nice. But being hollow, it was a little floppy and in danger of collapsing when I actually waved it around. So I looked at some old-style motorized car antennas. They certainly had the length that I needed, and it could reliably expand and then collapse, but unfortunately a little floppy by itself. Keeping in mind telescoping metal rods existed in the world, one of them was not going to be sturdy enough to make into a saber that could actually be swung around or handle the weight of LED strips and things like that. So instead I thought maybe an array or cluster of the telescoping rods. So I blew the dust off my very dusty 3D modeling skills and whipped up something that combined 8 pairs of 1/4-inch stainless steel rods that would nest one into the other. Each pair expanded from 1 foot in length to 2 feet in length, so they overlapped. Gave me a very sturdy structure to build upon. And with some engineering, I was able to get them to expand by the use of pulleys attached to a motor. Same motor that I used for the antenna, only this time it was pulling instead of pushing. With a very rudimentary motor controller, I can switch it on and off, reverse directions, and so on. And it worked pretty well. Just uses some heavy gauge fishing line and a spool. The blade itself fit into a 2-inch diameter PVC pipe. Kept trying to work on smaller and faster motors. I did a lot of tweaking and modifying of these 3D printed parts, and the amount of torque required to expand all of the pulleys and push all of the rods out to the full extended length. In the end, it was a bit too much to ask of my mediocre engineering skills and small motors that could fit inside of a lightsaber handle. Which brings us back around to the antenna. The original antenna was a little too dinky, and multiple rods seemed to be okay, but complicated to engineer. 1/2-inch diameter brass tubing was a lot easier to work with and much more sturdy than 1/4-inch stainless steel. And rather than relying on motors and gears, I tried something different. Compressed air provided by a battery-powered bike tire pump. This one's a little bit chunkier than the one I've actually decided to go with, which is smaller and quieter, but still provides enough airflow to expand the blade in right about 1/2 second, which was sort of my arbitrary goal to begin with. And that's it so far. I was hoping to have more progress made at this point, but things don't always work out exactly how you plan them. And here it is, very late in the day on May the 4th, which again is an arbitrary goal I had set for myself to have this working by, but I figured I owed an actual update to some people that I have been telling for a while that I've been working on this and that I would post an update at some point. Keep an eye out. I will eventually post another update, and maybe it will actually be with a functioning lightsaber-like thing. Who knows?